The title of this Bible study is The Process of Pursuing Godly Dreams. And what I mean by godly dreams are dreams that are righteous, things that are good, things that are pleasing in God's sight. The pursuit of these things. The Bible tells us that we must find out what is good and pleasing in God's sight. And from reading his word, we can tell that things that are pleasing to him are the things which he commands us to do. Things that may include the topics of love, respect, honor, affection, compassion, mercy, grace, self-control, righteousness, goodness, faithfulness, fruit of the spirits, patience, kindness, meekness, and godliness. Many different things. In the process of pursuing these things, we are going to have many different challenges. To achieve spiritual growth and prosper, obstacles had to be presented to test the commitment of men and women who had desired to follow their dreams, to make good and righteous decisions, and to do God's will. No man or woman ever had it easy, and no man or woman ever will. Prosperity, while it can be found simultaneously when a person accepts Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, is also a process. Following your dreams, if blessed by the Lord, is also a process. Making better decisions is a process. Doing God's will is also a process. Stop expecting victory overnight and instead claim victory before your head hits the pillow to sleep. Then claim victory as you rest. Claim it as you wake if the Lord wakes you. And claim it before you hit the ground running and do anything. Victory, prosperity does not consist of one battle. It is instead a lifelong pursuit. Therefore, it cannot be won or achieved by one act of courage or dedication, but instead in multiple instances that usually begin with an act of faith. Here I want to highlight briefly about Joseph, the 11th son of Jacob. And again, you can read about Joseph between the books of Genesis chapter 37 through chapter 50. I just want to summarize to you again. Remember the title of this message, The Process of Pursuing Godly Dreams. Joseph is going to be a man who pursued a godly dream, and he had encountered many different adversities. But we're going to see something very interesting in this story that I hope may be an encouragement to you. So starting in Genesis chapter 37, verses 1 through 2, it tells us that at 17 years old, Joseph was feeding the flock with his brothers, since they were shepherds, and Joseph brought a bad report about them to his father Jacob. Jacob loved Joseph more than all his children because he was the son of his old age. Jacob made him a special tunic of many colors. Joseph's brothers hated him and could not speak peaceably to him. And Joseph had a dream and told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. He said to them, "Please hear this dream that I have dreamed. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." His brother said to him, "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said. That was between Genesis 37, verses 1 through 8. Verse 9. Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. "Listen," he said, "I had another dream. And this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." When he told his father, and as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, "What is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" Verse 12. His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in mind. See, Joseph's brothers had gone grazing their father's sheep, and Jacob sent Joseph to go find his brothers near Shechem and bring back a report to him of their work. Joseph did not find them there, but a stranger said he overheard the brothers say they were headed to Dothan. And Joseph found them near Dothan. Around verse 18, it says, "But they saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him." These brothers plotted to kill their brother Joseph. Verse 19, "Here comes that dreamer," they said to each other. "Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of the cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams." Reuben, one of Joseph's brothers, when he heard his brother's plan, tried to stop them and suggested to just throw Joseph in the cistern and not to shed any blood. Reuben wanted to take Joseph back to their father. Joseph's brothers stripped him of his multicolored robe that he was wearing and threw him in an empty cistern. Judah, another one of Joseph's brothers, reasoned with his brothers to not kill Joseph since he is flesh and blood. However, when they encountered the Ishmaelites, they sold Joseph for 20 shekels of silver. And then they took him to Egypt. That can be found in Genesis 37, 21 through 28. Reuben was outraged when he discovered Joseph was no longer in the cistern, that he tore his clothes. Tearing clothes was a sign of great grief. The brothers got Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in blood, and took it to their father and told him that a ferocious animal devoured him. Being that Jacob recognized the robe, he believed his son's account of what happened and wept for him. The Midianites sold Joseph to Potiphar, one of the Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard. This can be summarized in Genesis 37, verses 29 through 36. So in Genesis 39, it tells about Joseph and how he excelled in his duties. He became one of Potiphar's most trusted servants, and he was put in charge of the household. And even more so, unfortunately, his success came with some situational problems. In Genesis 39, verses 7 through 20, it speaks about Joseph being thrown in jail after false accusations by Potiphar's wife of sexual advances toward her. Potiphar's wife wanted to sleep with Joseph. The Bible tells us that Joseph was a handsome man. He was good looking. He was hard working. And Potiphar's wife made sexual advances toward Joseph. Joseph resisted. He fled when she tried to pursue him. She asked and she told Joseph to come lay with her, but Joseph would not. He wanted to honor his master, Potiphar. He also wanted to honor God, and he did not commit any sin. And then, of course, what ended up happening was Potiphar's wife accused Joseph of making sexual advances toward her, and Joseph was thrown in jail. In jail, Joseph interpreted the dreams of two of his fellow prisoners. Both interpretations proved to be true. In Genesis 40, verses 1 through 23, summarized, one of the men who was later released from jail returned to his position as the king's cupbearer. 2 years later, the king had some troubling dreams of his own, and the cupbearer remembered Joseph's gift of interpretation and calls for Joseph to interpret the king's dreams. Genesis 41, verses 1 through 37. Joseph predicts 7 years of bountiful harvest, followed by 7 years of famine in Egypt, and advises the king to begin storing grain in preparation for the coming shortage. For his wisdom, Joseph is made ruler of Egypt, second only to the king. Genesis 41, 38 through 49. When the famine strikes, Canaan is affected, and Jacob sends 10 of his sons to Egypt to buy grain. Genesis 42, 1 through 5. Not recognizing their long-lost brother, Joseph's brothers bow down to him, fulfilling Joseph's earlier prophecy. Joseph was the governor of the land. Genesis 42, verse 6. Joseph reveals his identity to his brothers, and he says, "And now, do not be distressed or angry with yourselves, because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life." Genesis 45, 5. It was not you who sent me here, but God. Paraphrase Genesis 45, verses 7 through 8. Joseph forgives his brothers and says in Genesis 50, verse 20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." In this story that we just went through, and of course, again, we summarized basically 14 chapters, and I know it's very difficult to do. I just wanted to highlight a few points, or the points I wanted to focus on, and predominantly coming back to the beginning of being in a situation where you have multiple brothers. multiple brothers, all being shepherds. And the father, Jacob, he trusted Joseph. He trusted Joseph's account. He trusted Joseph's honesty. He trusted Joseph to be an honest son. He knew he could ask Joseph, hey, what your brother's doing? And Joseph would give an honest answer. I think for a lot of parents, for parents who have multiple kids, not showing favoritism, that you have, sometimes you may have one kid or have some kids that are more trustworthy than others. It's just the way it is. It's not showing favoritism. Some are just more trustworthy than others. Some's word are more trustworthy than others. Some's actions are more trustworthy than others. It's just the way that it is. And in this case, Joseph must have been an honest brother, because his father always would ask him to give an account of what his brothers were doing. And again, Joseph had a dream. He had a dream that his brothers bowed down to him. He had a dream that his mother, his father, may bow down to him. He had a dream that essentially he would reign over his brothers and maybe over his father and over his mother. And upon hearing this dream from Joseph, they despised him. They all despised him. Say, this could not be. This will never be. And so much to the fact that it created some envy within them. They say, hey, this brother of ours, he'll never rule over us. And we'll make sure that this doesn't happen. Now, see, that tells me something here. They must have feared his dream, because if they didn't fear his dream and believe it had a possibility of becoming true, they wouldn't have took such erroneous action. In their mutual decision against their brother, they sold him to slavery. They sold Joseph to slavery. And then they came up with a lie to tell their father Jacob that their brother was devoured by some ferocious animal. And they even went and took his tunic, dipped it in blood, to take it back to their father to show him that Joseph truly was dead. Now that's pretty sick. That's sick. If that happened today, in today's time, this may be something that might be all over the news. It'll probably be all over CNN. It'll be one of those CNN stories, some Netflix movie based on a true story. It'll be all over the news, because it's a very sick thing to do. To fake someone's death, to pretend like somebody died whom you essentially just sold off or got done away with, kidnapped, sold into slavery, or whatever the case may be. It's horrible. It's a horrible way to treat a person. And it's a horrible way for brothers to treat their brother. And of course, you had two brothers in Reuben and Judah who were very hesitant. They was like, hey, I understand that we all feel this way. We all want to get rid of Joseph, but let's not kill him. Let's not shed blood. And they both, cried out to the other brothers, like, let's not do this. Let's just put him in a cistern, and do away with him that way. But again, they got to the Ishmaelites and they sold Joseph for 20 shekels of silver. And it really wasn't a lot of money. But at the end of the day, how much money would you be willing to receive to sell one of your brothers or sisters to slavery? How much money would it take for you to sell your child? How much money would it take for you to sell a family member or a relative, or sell out somebody else? Is your love based upon money? Is your love that low and that little that you will be willing to receive money for selling someone's life? Kind of reminds us of in the New Testament with Jesus, when Jesus was betrayed by one of his disciples, for money. And we all know this particular disciple being Judas. And it's pretty terrible that for someone's life, someone would want to profit from somebody else's life or from the loss of life. So furthermore, again, what this shows us more so is that even when Joseph was sold into slavery and put into a new position, he was in a different place. He was put over Potiphar's household, Genesis 39. And it tells us in Genesis 39 that Joseph excelled in his duties. He did everything well. He was a faithful servant. He could be trusted. He was a really good worker. He was a hard worker. And in that, what that tells us again is that no matter the circumstances that you may be in, do your very best in them. It might not be an ideal setting. It might not be an ideal environment. It might not be your ideal circumstances. But wherever you are, do your absolute best. Do your best to do your very best and let God do the rest. So Joseph didn't whine about being sold into slavery. He didn't hold his head down and say, well, I'm not going to serve these people. I don't know these people. He didn't show disrespect. He just made the most of his opportunity. We have to be people as well who make the most of our opportunities. Wherever we may be, make the most of your opportunity. You're in an entry-level position, make the most of your opportunity. You're in a mid-level position, make the most of your opportunities. You're in some senior-level positions, make the most of your opportunities. Wherever you may be, make the very best and make the most of your opportunity and opportunities. Joseph did great work. And with that being said, whenever you do well, you have a tendency to draw criticism. You have a tendency to draw haters. You have a tendency to draw people who want to see you fail. You have a tendency to draw people who want to see you collapse. You have a tendency to draw people who want to see you suffer and want to see you fall. And in this case, it happened within the same household which he was trying to maintain. Potiphar's wife, she wanted a piece of Joseph. And Joseph, being a faithful man of God, wanted nothing to do with it. She told Joseph to come lay with her. And you think about being in a situation where it's easy to be tempted to sin. You're in the same household as somebody else, and maybe she's attracted to him, maybe she's not. Whatever the case may be, you're in the same household and being tempted under the same roof. It could have potentially been easy for Joseph to give in and cave in. But the Bible said he fled. He ran away. He ran away. She snatched at his clothing and even snatched some of his clothing. You can read about it in, I believe, Genesis 39 and 40. She snatched some of his clothing off him, and Joseph continued to run. He didn't try to fight for the clothing. He got her out of the situation. We have to be wise enough as well. There's some situations you got to run away from. And again, running away from temptation and temptation to sin is not weakness. That's strength. It's a lot of people that don't know to run away from temptation. They'll think that they can handle it. They'll think that they can bear up under it. They'll think they can go into the situation and come out on top. And that's sin deceiving them, and they fall into that temptation. But Joseph didn't fight. Joseph just ran away. We need to run away from sin. When you want to curse somebody out, get out of the situation. Walk out of the room. Walk away from the conversation. Put your phone down. Get out of the conversation. Get out of the comments. Just stop. When you want to fight, put hands on somebody, walk out of the room. Get away from the person. Get to a safe place. Go to a safe place. Get away from them. Run away from them. And they might laugh at you as you run away, but you are saving yourself from sin. You are saving yourself in the midst of a temptation to sin. You have to save yourself. And even furthermore, Potiphar's wife accuses Joseph of making sexual advances toward her. Wow, I can't believe she lied like that. But she did. When she didn't get what she wanted, she lied and made up a story saying that he made advances against her. And of course, like it is in that situation, they're going to believe her. They're not going to believe Joseph. They're going to believe her. They believe the one who in that situation was what appeared to be the victim, as well as one who had the most authority and the most power in that situation. Joseph was just a slave. He was just a servant. So, of course, they're going to believe the master and the master's wife. And he's thrown into jail. So Joseph was thrown into jail and did jail time. You say, man, can this guy catch a break? He had brothers that hated on him because he had dreams of greatness. You got people who he's doing really well on the job, and people who are around him on the job want to see him fail and want to bring him down. Can the brother catch a break? He gets in jail. And again, Joseph was blessed with the ability, with the gift of interpreting dreams. Joseph was given the gift of the ability to interpret dreams. That was his gift given from God. Everybody doesn't have that gift, and some people may not have that gift. We all have different gifts from God, and the Bible tells us that we all have different gifts. We all receive many different gifts. Whatever your gift may be, use your gift. Don't bury your gift in the ground. Don't run from it. Don't put it in the closet. Don't let dust accrue around it. Use your gift. Maximize your gift. That's what God is giving you to use. Joseph simply continued doing what he was doing. He used his gift, and he told two men about their dreams, interpreting them, and they both come to pass to be true. And it just so happens that one of those men whose dreams he interpreted was released from prison, and this particular individual was a cupbearer for the king. So the cupbearer goes back to his position when he's released from jail, and then the king starts having trouble in dreams. and he wants somebody to interpret his dreams for him. And the cupbearer remembered, hey, I ran into a brother named Joseph when I was in jail who interpreted my dream correctly and interpreted another jailer's dream correctly. So they went and sought out Joseph to interpret the king's dream. Genesis 41. Joseph interprets the dream, and he predicts that there'll be 7 years of harvest, followed by 7 years of severe famine for Egypt, and advises the king to begin storing grain in preparation for the common shortage. Now that's some great wisdom right there. To be able to have somebody tell you or have the foresight to know that, hey, you're going to have 7 years of success followed by 7 years of downfall. You're going to have a time period where you're going to do well and profit and prosper, but you're going to also have a time period where you're not going to do so well, where you're going to have a shortage, where you might have a famine. And to be able to know means you have an opportunity to prepare. And it's a great thing to be able to prepare for something that is coming. So in that case, for the wisdom that he was given, the king awarded Joseph to be ruler of Egypt, and his position was only second to the king. Wow. This guy Joseph is absolutely amazing. He uses his gifts wherever he is. He does good wherever he goes. Not so much that he does so much good that he stands out. He's just faithful with what he has wherever he goes. Just be faithful with what you have wherever you go. You may get the attention of 20,000 people. You may get the attention of 20 people. And in Joseph's situation, you may get the attention of 2 people. But by helping 2 people, this man eventually got awarded the position of being ruler in Egypt, in a position only second to the king. Wow. Amazing. Coming down further. Genesis 41 and 42. This is where it gets really good in the story, and what I enjoy the most of seeing Joseph's attitude towards his family. Now, his family, they didn't forget all about Joseph. Now when the famine hits, Jacob sends 10 of his sons to Egypt to buy grain in preparation for the famine. Not recognizing their brother Joseph, the brothers bowed down to him, and they fulfilled Joseph's earlier prophecy that was read about in Genesis 17. That they would bow down to him. And it wasn't bowing down and saying, hey, I'm superior, I'm better than you, I'm a better person than you, I'm greater than you. But just saying that, hey, I had a dream that I might be in a position where I may rule over you. It's not a bad thing. Everybody can't be president. Everybody can't be governor. Everybody can't be mayor. Everybody can't be the line leader. Somebody got to be the line leader. Why is it that we hate people who are successful? Why do you hate on people when they have success? Why do you hate on people when they have visions or aspirations of doing good or doing successful things? We have to get out of that mindset. It's a learned behavior. We need to rebuke that in the name of Jesus and start supporting one another. Now, we should support each other when we want to do good. When you want to do good or do righteous things, things that are pleasing to God, good things, then, hey, you should get a loud cry of support, pats on the back, cheers and encouragement, and being spurred forward doing those wonderful things. Now, if you want to do things that are bad, you want to do things that are illegal, things that are wrong, things that are morally wrong, no, you're right. You should get no support for those things. But Joseph only had dreams and aspirations of doing things that were good. He had dreams given to him by God. Now, when I'm talking about godly dreams for us, we may not have dreams like Joseph. I'm not telling you that have a dream and chase the dream that you have. And when I'm saying have a dream, I'm not saying go to bed tonight and if you dream something to chase it. Your dreams may not be from God. Your dream may not be from God. Your dream may be from Satan. Your dream may be from the flesh. Your dream may not be something for you to go and chase. I've had dreams myself where it could have been something in reality that I could have pursued, but I don't think it would have been wise for me to pursue. I know that for a fact. I'm not telling you to go chase your dreams. This was part of Joseph's gift. He had a gift of interpreting dreams, so God spoke to him through dreams. Likewise for us, we all have different gifts. And likewise, God can speak to us today in many different ways. God can speak to you through a dream. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he won't. But God speaks to us in many different ways. He speaks to us through his holy word in the Bible. He speaks to us through other people. He speaks to us through the body of Christ. He speaks to us through nature. He speaks to us through other people, other individuals, from strangers. He speaks to us in many different ways. Don't always look for a lightning bolt to come down from the heavens. Don't look for rain to fall because you looking for a raindrop to fall or looking for a balloon to pop up in the sky. But have faith. Have faith. Be sure what you hope for and be certain what you do not see. And God surely will help you fulfill. Furthermore, they bowed down to their brother Joseph, not knowing it was really him. And look at Joseph's attitude. Now, a lot of people in this position would have been arrogant. They would have been disrespectful. They would have been conceited. They would have acted like, you know what? Yeah, you need me now. You didn't want nothing to do with me. You thought you got rid of me, but I'm still here. I'm still kicking. And I feel where you're coming from. But that ain't the godly thing to do. That's not the godly or righteous attitude to have. Genesis 45 verse 5. Joseph said to them, and now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life. To preserve the life of others. To preserve their life as well. That by Joseph being able to go out, for Joseph to be sold to slavery, to be accused of doing something he didn't do and going to jail, it later put him into a position where he could go before the king and interpret the king's dream, and the king could be told that, hey, you're going to have 7 years of harvest, followed by 7 years of famine, and by knowing this, you can prepare the nation for what's coming. That's a blessing. That can help preserve life. If you have 7 years of harvest, if you prepare properly, when those 7 years of famine come, you already prepared. So essentially, it won't even be 7 and 7. It'll almost just be 14 years of goodness. 7 years of harvest followed by 7 years of already having things stored up. You already prepared for it. That's a blessing. God was trying to bless Egypt. He was trying to bless Joseph and bless the people in this time period. And likewise, furthermore, last verse in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, Joseph forgave his brothers, and he said to them, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. There are people who are going to want to harm you, who want to try to hurt you, who want to try to break you down, who want to let you down, who want to see you fall, who want to see you slip, who want to see you quit, who want to see you give up, who want to see you break down and broken. There are people who want to see you hurt and see you in pain. But likewise, in all those situations, God can use all those things for your good. And for a lot of reasons, in a lot of different ways, it's all a matter of how we view it. Your attitude often determines your outlook. If you look at everything and you see everything as just being bad and negative, then guess what? It's going to all be bad and negative. But if you have faith, if you remember Romans 8:28, that all things work together for the good of all, for those who love God, all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. If all things work together for our good, now Joseph didn't know that passage because it wasn't written yet, but all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. If we believe that, then every setback, every kick down, every slip and fall, every disappointment, every failure, every time we didn't succeed, we can look at those things and say, you know what? This was for my benefit. I'm going to use it for my benefit. I won't allow it to hold me down. I won't allow it to weigh me down. I will prosper. I will be successful. This will help me. And it will be people who are going to laugh at you. They're going to look at you funny. They're going to look at you crazy, talk bad about you, call you names. They're going to disrespect you. They're going to look at you. They won't respect you in the same way. They won't regard you in the same way. But guess what? God can still use it for your good. God used the things of those who meant to harm Joseph to be things that would actually bless Joseph. God used the things that were meant to, that others meant to hurt Joseph, to actually help save them. The Joseph brothers wanted to harm him, and God used their desire to harm him to save them. We serve an amazing God. We serve an awesome God. So I just want to give you some encouragement today, and I hope you're encouraged by this story. Again, it's a lot to read between all those chapters, but just know that Joseph's back was against the wall. And with his back against the wall, he didn't get out here and rebel. He didn't get out here and try to buck the system. He didn't get out here and try to cut a buck. He simply was obedient to what God told him to do. And by being obedient and by being faithful, he was blessed with much. Leave you with a Bible verse. If you can be trusted with a little, you can be trusted with a lot. But if you're unfaithful with a little, you'll be unfaithful with a lot. I want to encourage you, be faithful with what you have, and also to continue to pursue your godly dreams. What I mean by godly dreams is things on your heart, things you desire, aspirations you have of doing good, of doing things that are prosperous for others and for yourself and for your community, things that God approves. I'm telling you, and you aspire to do them, seek them. Ask God for them. Ask God for help. Ask God for wisdom. Keep on trying. Keep on going. If it's the Lord's will, it will come to pass. Don't be so quick to give up. Joseph had every reason to stop. He had every reason to quit. He had every reason maybe to despise God. Maybe every reason to even despise his family. But in a position where he had the power and the authority to do so, he told them, I forgive you. He told them, hey, forgive yourselves. Don't be distressed. Don't be angry at yourselves. It's okay. I'm okay. And guess what? Because I'm okay, guess what? You okay. I'm going to bless you. I'm going to help you. You will benefit from this. Now that takes strength. That's true strength. Don't be weak and seek vengeance, but be strong. Let the Lord do all the vengeance. Let the Lord do the revenge. Seek peace. Be a peacemaker. Be faithful to what God calls us to do. And if we do so, God will bless us with a harvest as well if we don't give up. Hope this has been beneficial to you. I thank you for your time.